Johnson County Fiscal Court order this time. First item is the pledge of allegiance. Mack Trucks, would you lead the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item, I guess, is the approval of the minutes of the approval of the minutes of the March 15th meeting. You have a copy of those minutes before you. Are there any suggested changes, corrections, or amendments to the minutes as presented?
Move to approve as presented.
Have a motion by Commissioner Daniel to approve the minutes as presented. I need a second.
Second.
Have a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the approval of monthly bills. I think you have the bills before you. Is there any comments or concerns about the bills? And is there any extraordinary?
Not as usual, Judge.
Make a motion to approve the bills.
Have a motion by Commissioner Adams to approve payment of the monthly bills.
Second.
And a second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is transfers to fiscal court. That is one of the most unpleasant things always on my agenda, and that's spend another $40,000 this month out of jail. But it's a necessary cost. So need a motion to approve the transfer of $40,000 from 4909 general fund to 4910 jail.
So moved.
Did I have a motion?
Yeah.
And a motion from Commissioner Campbell. Need a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Adams. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, I guess, is the amendment for the Sheriff's Department. Says unbudgeted receipts the sheriff received from Clef for January through March of $5,485. Insurance deductible reimbursement of $1,000. Returning fugitive, $687. We're recommending that the budget is increased by $7,176 to include unbudgeted receipts from, I just read those from Clef, $54.88, the deductible, insurance deductible $1,000, returning fugitive $687, and those funds are recommended being transferred and increase the line items in the deputy salaries line item 5015-103 by amount of $5,488. Vehicle maintenance and repairs transferred from 5015-340 to vehicle repairs $1,000, and 5015576 travel expense of $687. What's the pleasure of the court with regard to the
Move we make the amendment.
Commissioner Daniel has moved for approval of the amendment?
Second.
Do we have a second?
Aaron.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item I have is an appointment to the Big Sandy Regional Industrial Development Authority Board. We, as you know, the Big Sandy Regional Industrial Development Board oversees the activities of the industrial park up at the intersection almost of Martin County and Floyd County and Johnson County in the Honey Ranch near where the prison is. Several businesses operate up there in that complex. Tax revenues are divided up among the principal counties in the Big Sandy Ad District, 5 counties in the Big Sandy Ad District. And the activities of that project is overseen by appointments from the counties in the Big Sandy Ad District. Denny Dorton, who has served on the board here for many, many years, is currently the chairman. Denny has asked that he be permitted to resign from the board. I must say, Denny, and not just Denny, but the entire Dorton family, my goodness, goes back for generations. Anything that has ever happened good, I think, in Johnson County or Paintsville in the last 75 years, if you look closely and delve into the people that are the movers and shakers who are helping move Johnson County forward, I think you'd see the Denny's father and his grandfather and then Denny himself certainly right at the forefront. He's just been a great asset to the community, but he's retiring, moving to Florida, and want to wish him Godspeed and the very best. And that leaves us with a big shoes to fill, obviously. And you don't find people like Denny Dorton every day, but I am recommending, after a lot of concern, for discussion and talking to people, that Denny be replaced by Kathy Walker. Kathy is the owner and president, I guess, of Elm Street Resources down on Main Street. Kathy's been very active for several years in civic activities with the county and the chamber. She's active at this time in trying to help bring jobs to the area, and I've spoken to her recently, and she's got a lot of irons in the fire, but she has graciously agreed to serve in that capacity. So I'm recommending that Kathy be appointed to fill Denny's vacancy, and I would think that it's probably a 4-year term, but whatever the appropriate term is, I'll talk to Big Sandy Ad, and we will put that in there. But 4 years would obviously be the highest or longest term, but that's what I'm recommending to the board at this time. Confirmation of the appointment of Kathy Walker to the Visrita board.
Need a motion on that? Need a motion on that? Or I make a
Yes,
motion?
I know you did. They're not looking there.
I'll say.
Okay, got a second. Motion and a second by
Sorry.
Kathy in there, and any other discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approval to advertise for bids to Mack Trucks. As you know, for the last, goodness, 8 or 10 years anyway, Worldwide Equipment has had this project that they have permitted counties to purchase or lease. I guess it's a lease purchase technically. Mack Trucks for local governments only, with substantial reductions off the sticker price of the vehicles. The same day that we sign for the trucks, we sign a contract with I guess it's an auction company. I'm not sure. Is it? Do you remember what the name of Montgomery? Is it Montgomery, Alabama? Wood auction service, I guess it is. Huge auction operation down in Montgomery, Alabama, and they guarantee that we can buy those trucks, use those trucks for a year, give them back to them as long as they've not been wrecked or torn up or whatever, with normal wear and tear, and guarantee us savings, a tremendous savings on the toward paying off the vehicles. And every single year at the end of the term of the lease purchase, we have delivered those vehicles. We've used them for a year, and they're in excess of $100,000 vehicle. And we use them for a year, and we've been able to sell them, or Wood Auction has been able to sell those trucks at a profit to us. So if you think that sounds too good to be true, that's true. That is one of those deals. And I did not enter into this agreement the first year they had it. For that very reason, I thought there ain't no way. There's no way that they let us have a brand new Mack truck and drive those things for a year, use them exactly the way we use our own vehicles, bring them back to them and let them take them down and sell them at auction, and not have to pay a bunch of money. I think we made $40,000 clear on the trucks the first year. We cleared money up until, what, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
And we lost, well, when you didn't lose, my God, it was, what, $6,000? Yeah, I believe $6,000 is what we had to end up paying for those brand new vehicles because of a downturn. As you know, the economy's been in the tank for a long time. So this is a program that has worked in the past. We hope it's going to work again this year, the same as it always has. It may not, but if it doesn't, it's certainly been worth so far the gamble. And we have either made money, we made money last year and the year before, but I can't say enough about this. And if you can believe this program has been going on forever. There's a lot of counties that do not participate. And I don't know what, I've talked to a bunch of those judges and told them, look, I had reservations, but I'm telling you it works. So it's a good operation for us and a good opportunity for us, and keeps us driving new vehicles, and we pay, what do we pay the interest at? We pay it twice a year, something.
We pay interest once a month.
Oh, just pay an interest payment then once a month, and then pay off the entire loan once they sell our vehicle. So what I'm doing here is asking approval to advertise for bids for the 2 new trucks, and when we get those new trucks the bids in, we will go ahead and order them and then deliver these down to Alabama. So I need a motion at this time to,
Make that motion.
motion by Commissioner Adams,
Second.
second by Commissioner Daniel. Advertised to Mack Trucks. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, opening bids for the Cross Creek Bridge. Cross Creek Bridge is part of a project that actually began back, and we had some conversation on the record, so the press is probably aware of this. There was damages during the flash flooding along 172 that everybody's aware of. A lot of damages downstream, debris, millions of dollars worth of debris that had been cleared up. And a lot of damages of culverts and bridges been washed out and damaged. FEMA came in and did a good job. They went through the entire area. They noted damages to roads and bridges and culverts and so forth. The Cross Creek Bridge got hammered by a couple of huge fuel tanks that could not get underneath. The water was high, they couldn't get underneath the bridge. And they just kept banging and banging and banging. And we'd had some erosion problems over the years around behind the piers, and had a lot of damage. A lot of that stuff was washed out, and they came in and inspected it. They determined that there needed to be some concrete poured, there needed to be encasements, if you will, encase those piers in concrete to keep them from being, I guess, exposed to damage from being hit by heavy obstacles. And they approved the project, told us to go ahead with it. They was going to pay for it. We sent it in. We started to advertise for bids, and they called, FEMA calls us and says, oops, we can't pay for that because all of the damage to that bridge didn't occur during this one incident. And they were there to try to compensate people, individuals and local governments, for damages sustained in that particular catastrophe that was declared. So we get stuck with a bridge, excuse me, a bridge that we know is damaged, and FEMA knows it's damaged, everybody knows it's damaged. But bureaucratic red tape said, because it wasn't all done at one time, we can't pay for it. Well, we're sitting here, like every other county that was involved in that thing. We'd spent, I guess, $1 million or more out of our budget trying to get all the work done that we could. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars that we have to spend in a major catastrophe like that just to get the area opened and passable and open to traffic, and so ambulances and rescue people can get in and out. We can't wait on that stuff. We have to pay for it and then try to get our money back at some point in the future. So here we were with facing in excess of $100,000 for repairs on the bridge, and didn't know what to do. Stumbled around a couple of days, made some phone calls, and finally got a bright idea to contact transportation in Frankfurt, and by that time we had a new governor named and sworn in, and there was nobody running the show at DOT. They finally, I think maybe last week, got an interim appointment made for the DOT guy, secretary. But we didn't know if we were going to be successful or not when we got lucky. Talked to those people that listened to us, and we filed applications. We got those applications approved, and just recently heard from Frankfurt that yes, the money will be released. So we asked that the bridge people come and review the thing, look at what the job entailed. We had the state come down and look at it. We had our engineers look at it to make sure that we're doing it, we think, in the right way. And tonight, we're here to open the bid on that bridge. And we got one bid, Addie, is that right?
That's all.
You want that? Open that.
We got one bid from Bush and Burchett. Proposed to repair the Cross Creek Bridge as described in the project bid package for a lump sum of $97,500. This price includes all labor, equipment, and material necessary to complete the work. The price does not include any paving or material testing.
No paving or what?
Material testing.
No blacktopping or material testing. I don't know if that's a normal caveat or not. I'll have to ask Sam about that tomorrow. Is that normal, Bob? Do you guys do many? I would have thought if you're going to repair something, they're going to be out there digging, you'd have to put it back down and blacktop it, wouldn't you?
I've not seen any like that.
That's, well, Mike, we can accept this contingent upon talking to Sam and having him verify that Sam operator for you, can we?
I think so.
Okay.
Judge,
Yes.
sometimes when you use transportation dollars, they make you do the material testing, but it's just a simple thing. The day they're going to pour concrete, they have to put it into a cylinder and test it to make sure it's the right concrete that you ordered. That just happens sometimes. It's in the specs sometimes, but often like him, I don't see it actually occur a lot.
Okay, thank you, Virginia. So I'll entertain a motion at this time to accept the Bush and Burchett bid of $97,500. I know that's within the realm of the money that we can, or that we've been indicated they'll supply. And we'll do that contingent upon road foreman reviewing the bid for appropriate language and really, I guess, normal operating costs of dealing with construction of bridges.
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Daniel.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamble. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. You have in your packet a lease agreement. Next item with Mountain Comp Care for Safe Haven. Mountain Comp is coming in with a new program that has to do with domestic violence and safe havens for children who are products of broken homes and separate parents and bitter divorces and things of that nature. And you'd be surprised when they're like visitation drop-offs or in situations where there's been some animosity among the spouses and kids have been involved. It's really gotten pretty scary sometimes, I'm sure, to be in areas that you have no protection and no way to separate the parties. But this new program is going to permit Mountain Comp to come in here, and it's was
Yes.
ran. And they'll be able to bring, to bring them to an area, a safe haven, where there will be separate entrances, so the people will be separate from the time they walk in the door. Kids will be able to be in areas that are, where they're not exposed to any kind of fighting or screaming or danger to them. Mike, is there a specific name of that other than just safe haven
I
thing?
think that's what the grant was called, safe haven.
And that is basically the nature of it.
That is exactly the nature of it, is
And I
to make
think,
sure when the transfer is done and children are okay and the participating adults are okay.
and they'll have at least a worker, the mountain cop, and there'll be a deputy sheriff there.
Yeah, I think part of the grant is to pay for part of the sheriff's deputy, I think. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, it sounds like it's a tremendous opportunity, and we were sitting here with a building across the street or down the street there, across the parking lot. The old building that we used to utilize, then the newspaper was in there, right across the street from the Paintsville Elementary School. And Mountain Comp looked at that. It's close to the courthouse, it's close to the sheriff's office. It's got separate entrances, front and back, and they asked to, if we could make them a price on leasing that property, and we did so, which calls for a monthly lease fee or rental fee of $1,300. Mountain Comp will pay all utilities and services. And hopefully this is going to be something that the rest of the language is just strictly boilerplate language for leases, and hopefully this is going to work out to everybody's advantage. They'll be with us for a while, hopefully. Any other comments or questions about this? Not, what's the pleasure of the court?
Move we entertain, that we enter into the agreement, lease agreement.
I have a motion by Commissioner Daniel to authorize us to enter into this lease for a term of 3 years, seconded by Kathy Adams. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
What's the starting date on that?
Pardon?
The starting date on that?
I'm not sure when that thing's going to start. I don't know if they've got all their ducks in line or not. No, they've left it blank.
I left it blank because we weren't completely sure.
Pardon?
No, I left it blank on purpose at least because we weren't sure exactly when.
Yeah, that was my understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be soon though, I think. The next 2 or 3 months, I would assume.
Do we vote on that? I thought so. Next item, we have with us I guess, Regina, are you going to ask us or tell us about the price quotes for Homeland Security?
Gary's managing that, and I'm providing technical assistance.
Okay. Somebody want to come up?
Got rid of that real quick.
Yeah.
Judges just needed to give the court an update. Of course, we have 2 current Homeland Security projects, one for Flat Gap Fire Department and one for Redbush Volunteer Fire Department. Those are 2 separate grants, but each department was awarded $10,500. And the purpose of that grant was for them to purchase personal protective equipment for their firefighters. When I say personal protective equipment in the fire service, we call it PPE. That consists of the coats, pants, helmet, gloves, Nomex hood, and leather boots. So, in my conversations with Homeland Security, of course, we all know with both grants being under $10,500, we didn't have to go bid. So, in my conversations with them, of course, they require that we get at least 3 quotes just to submit along, you know, when we do the purchase of the PPE. But in my conversation with them, they said that basically, you know, it's kind of up to the individual fire departments. It's up to the chief. They've got $10,500 to spend. A lot of times you will have departments, and I think Paul can attest to this, that you get from purchasing from one vendor, and over the years you use that vendor. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be the lowest quote, but whoever the fire department is comfortable with. And of course, they indicated that all we have to do along with that is just a letter from the chief, you know, stating that this is the vendor that they prefer to use. But all of the quotes that they got or submitted to them, they're within like $200 or $300, you know. So all of them's pretty close. Of course, you'll be surprised. I'll just give you an average price here, but with what I named there earlier, looks like the highest quote was $2,793. That's just for one full set. So it's, yeah, you know, when they get this, they'll, you know, get about 3 sets of turnout gear.
Yeah.
So it's really expensive. But in my conversations with Homeland Security also, and Regina's aware of this, if we've got the $10,500 to spend, we get 3 full sets. Then if we've got $500, $750, $1,000 left over, not enough to buy a complete set, they can buy extra helmets or gloves or whatever. In other words, we'll spend all the $10,500. You know, we won't send any of it back. But mainly what I need to do is just give you an update on the project, bring the project manager, and get it reflected in the minutes.
Thank you, Gary, and that's all we need, just
That's
that
all
day,
there.
right?
Just mainly need it stated that I reported, it's reported in the minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. Gary, please convey to the fire departments, all of the fire departments, whether or not they're included in this latest go-round or not, convey our sincere thank you to them for what they do. I know this past weekend they were engaged again in several activities and one fatality and a fire, structure fire, I think the Commissioner Gamble personally called in. So we appreciate everything they do, and God bless them for caring about their community and their neighbors.
I'll tell them, Judge, we'll be having a meeting on Thursday, specifically the incident we had at Lake. And call came in about 4 o'clock, and when I got there, the Sheriff's Office KSP was on the scene, and we already have 1 fire department there and 2 more on the way. And, you know, you call them and they're right there.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it without
Well, no, I don't think anybody could. I really don't.
Without.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
That's all we have on our agenda tonight for specific agenda items. I do want to give one update before we check, see if there's anything from the audience. An update on the Van Leer Sewer Project, and I'm glad to see Bob Pack here today. The press has been, you guys have heard us talk about this now for the last several years. It's one of those on again, off again, on again, off again deals, and now it looks like we're moving closer than ever before, and in the time span that we've been working on. We're down to construction drawings, and we looked at showing the route of the line. We recognized, we tried to stay on, and the engineering company that was doing the work understood that we wanted to stay on county right-of-way or state right-of-way as much as possible, recognizing there was going to be some places that you could not do that. You'd have to come off county right-of-way or state right-of-way and cross somebody's property. We started talking to about 19 or 20 people up there that we felt like we would have to cross their property with the route of that line that had been proposed. And they had a lot of issues, those people that were going to be impacted about, where's the line going to be, how deep's the line going to be. I don't want it in front of my house, I'd rather have it back here. A whole series of conversations we were having over the last few weeks. And we talked among ourselves and thought, well, maybe we need to have a special meeting, a local meeting, town hall type thing, at up in Vanderleer, and let everybody come in, find out where, look at the maps, find out where the lines are being proposed and where their property is marked, and tell us, is that your property or not? We did that a week ago tonight, I guess. And we had our engineer in from Lexington, who had been up there and had talked to several people already. And we tried to explain to the people of Vanderleer that this is a chance of a lifetime for us. And if it's not built now, if we can't make this thing work, it's highly unlikely that it'll ever get done. And if it doesn't, you're looking at years and years probably down the road. So we told them how important it was, that if and we were facing some time constraints, and July the 30th, if we don't get this thing done, we can lose the money. And if we lose the money, it won't come back probably. And the reason we got the money to begin with was because it would connect a sewer line to all the way up up on the hill, up past number 5, where the old landfill used to be. Where right now we've got tanks buried in the ground, the old leachate, the old landfill, several acres of the old landfill that's been closed. It's got synthetic covers on it. It's got fill dirt, and it's got lateral drains in it, taking it into the middle where the big drain is, and all as the stuff rots and dissolves more or less and liquefies, the fluids run down into the tanks, and after a period of time, you got to go up and have the tanks pumped and hauled and disposed of, I guess, with Paintsville Utilities, the wastewater treatment plant. So here's a chance for us to use state funding under a special program that the state had and get that thing built. At the same time, logic would tell you that if you're having a trunk line built 3 or 4 miles from the head of Vanderleer down to Palatician, and there's houses living along that line, some close and some not, some on one side of the road and some on the other. But there's a lot of houses there. And if you can get that trunk line built, you've got the workload is reduced substantially. And later on, Paintsville Utilities, if the people that don't sign up as we're going through the first time, we have an ordinance in place in Johnson County that if you have a septic system, then okay, you're in good shape right now. But if that septic system fails, you cannot build a new septic system if there is a sewer line within close proximity to that, to your home, you have to hook on. So sooner or later, it's gonna make sense for people to sign up and hook onto that sewer. So that is what we felt like was a win-win situation. It would help Paintsville Utilities. You have a presence out there, that have customers out there that they were serving. They obviously have water now, and they would be able to get sewer in there. And it'd be a win-win for everybody. And it would, the biggest thing too, it would clean up the environment. You would not have leachate that might be migrating somehow around your landfill somehow, maybe into the water table and getting into Miller's Creek and running on down the creek like I saw at Muddy Ranch when I was growing up in Muddy Ranch. We didn't have indoor plumbing. We did not have sewer lines. So you saw the health hazards of raw sewage in the creeks every day. There's a lot of people, there's hundreds of straight pipes as we speak tonight here in Johnson County and all over eastern Kentucky, where the water, the sewer is being discharged into straight pipe that's going into a creek or it's going into the river or somewhere. So this is an extremely important project, and it means, honest to goodness, it means so much to everybody in eastern Kentucky, but it's especially Van Leer. And we tried to explain that to people. Paul was up there with us for 2 hours, I guess it was. And thank goodness, at the end of the day, a lot of people stood up and said, yes, we need that, we want to help, we want to do it. We've already got, Bob, I don't know, 4 or 5 people signed up. We've got 3 or 4 more that has said, come on up, we're ready to sign. So Sam and Willard is looking at those. And we've asked people, several people have said, well, we'd like to, we want to sign up. We want it, we think it's necessary, we're going to do it. But we got a couple of questions. So we're trying to get those questions answered, whether it comes to you or it's questions to city utilities or the engineers. We're trying to address those right now. So I have some hope that we see a little light at the end of the tunnel now. And if this thing kind of picks up steam, which we're hoping it's going to, maybe we'll have some good news in the next 4 to 6 weeks. But I want to say this publicly. On behalf of the Fiscal Court, I want to thank Paintsville Utility, thank Bob Pack. Bob has been here a short time. Bob's predecessor was very interested, just like Bob is. We worked with Eric Bradley for a while on it. Eric's predecessor was kind of ambivalent for a while. Recognized, I think, the value of the project, but wasn't sure that it's something that utilities wanted to do. So we're so glad that the members of the Utilities Commission have looked at this and said, yeah, we want to support that and we want to help the county. Even to the point of when we found people that said, can we get a free tap? Bob and the commission agreed to give a $500 free tap. Now that's not free service, that's not free service. That's a free tap on that line as we're building that thing through there.
That's just the ones that are impacted by signing the easement.
Go ahead.
I said that's the ones impacted by signing the easement.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Go ahead and make those comments.
The $500 is only to the ones that are impacted by signing an easement.
Yeah. That's the people that would live on that line that would have to sign the easement as we're going across their line. And then we come back later and ask Bob, because we had a question, well, what if a property owner lives on this line, it's going to go through his property, and on side of his house, or the side or wherever, he's got some rental property. He may have 3 or 4 or even 5 tenants. And they said, well, what about a tap for those tenants that live along, the rental property lives along I'm the property owner. Can I get a tap for them? And they agreed, yes, that they would do that. So that's really been a very important issue for the city to step up and do that, and it's really made a difference. And hopefully, by working together on this thing, we'll get finished with it pretty soon. I just am so hopeful that it's going to have a chance to come to fruition. So,
The timetable on this is June 30th.
June 30th, yes. What I said a while ago, that's the timeline we're looking at.
What's it?
June 30th is when we have to have the signatures on all the easements. You know, some people said, well, why isn't there money to buy easements? Well, this is not a private company. This is not a private operation where somebody's wanting to cross your property and they have no authority otherwise. This is a state-funded, local government constructed and local government operated. It's not a private company. It's got money to make. And that is the big difference. From most, I think the fellow that asked the question is he might be a oil and gas guy. Oil and gas companies, you know, they're private entities. They're there to make money, and they have money to buy surplus that they don't otherwise have. This is taxpayers' money. This is state funded and locally constructed. So it's important that that we get this done, and it looks much better now than it has in the past. Is there anything, anybody, Bob, is there anything you think of we need to cover? I encourage anybody from Paintsville, here's the video tonight. Ronnie or reads the paper this week and sees that. I encourage him, lives along that line, I encourage them to try, if they would, to give us a call. Let's try to sit down if they got issues or questions and work this thing out and try to get those signed, those signatures done. Having said all that, and that's a long speech about the last subject, I know, but I'm just so hopeful that we're going to be able to get this thing built. Anything to come before the court at this time, Bobby, or you just?
I'm just here from the college, Judge. I'm just,
Oh, okay.
just observing. We're actually trying to get out to more of the government meetings, and perhaps there's some way we can connect. Good.
We want to invite you back.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I think it's good that you guys are doing that, reaching out, kind of keeping your hand on the pulse of what's going on in the community, local communities, and I think that's, you know, we've worked, everybody that's ever lived here in Johnson County has seen the long arm of Mayo, you know, it's reached out and touched a lot of families and a lot of lives. And now, extending take on community colleges is super Mayo, I guess, and they reach out into several counties. How many counties you guys?
You got five counties. And I'm going to get to learn a whole lot about these meetings and many others, so I'll be attending each county. So thank you for allowing me to be here tonight.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, I think the community colleges are vital to the community, to any community, but especially with the cost of college degrees, college education, going up the way they are, it's a great bargain to get the 2-year degree here and then move on if that's what they need to do. But thank you for everything you guys do.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else to come forward the court this time for the good of the county? Not, entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. We're adjourned.